Okay, about 20 seconds out from the bell. Volatility is back. Ranges are big, moves are big, so it's hard to take quick trades because it can get whipped around. So it feels like a day where it could take a little bit for things to, as a whole, choose a direction and then try to find something that looks decent. And what I did is I added the pre-market data on the chart just so it's a little bit easier to see. I know when the pre-market data is off, it can look very small. So just a little bit of a change to the chart, but just want to see what happens. I don't want to try to anticipate something too quick. This is when volatility is high, taking these really quick patterns off the open is where it can be, you get totally whipped apart. So really just watching SPY, watching cues, watching the group that I'm looking at right here, Tesla, Snap, Netflix, Baidu, Twitter, and just want to see, do things sell off? Do they stay weak? Or do things wash out real quick? Does the dip get bought? And then do we start working our way back higher? I have no idea. I'm not trying to anticipate. What I really want to do is wait for clear direction and then some sort of clean pattern. But even that quick dip on Tesla, pre-market low, bought right back up. So the last thing you want to do is try to anticipate too much. Snap looks all right though. So we got Snap coming into all-time high, which is 73. Snap options are a little spready considering. I think it's just because the volatility is a little high right now. The spreads are going to open up a little bit more than maybe they normally would. But watching this 72.95 all-time high, that looks pretty interesting. Snap is showing some relative strength based on what the market was doing. And yesterday, I think it was the Investors Day, had a big reaction. So the daily looks really good. Just want to let things shake out for the first handful of minutes. Spreads are starting to tighten up. So it was just the first few minutes. Volatility was high. Spreads opened up. That's a really good spread. Starting to look good. 72.95 all-time high. It's a pretty big candle. I'd like to see a bit of a pullback. And that's what happens when volatility is high. You chase these quick patterns off the open, and sometimes you can get totally whipped around. And it's hard to, unless your stop is really wide, which I try my best to not have a really wide stop, you can get totally chopped up simply just because, volatility will send things, up and down at a crazy rate. SPY and Qs had a slight push off the open. Now it's just about whether or not they hold that. If they start to roll over again, could see some more weakness for the first little bit. And I'm obviously looking at this for people who aren't familiar with my setup, but I do have my 34-inch screen above, which is where I'm looking at all my stocks, and it's Thinkorswim. I'm using Thinkorswim for charts, and it's above this screen that you see right here. And I have all of them up there, and it just allows me to see everything kind of in unison and see, did they finally choose the direction as a whole, and then trying to, obviously see if there's good setups around the levels. I don't see anything yet. Nothing has really chosen a direction. SPY and Q showing a little bit of weakness, so now it's just whether or not they continue to sell off, and then what happens with the individual names I'm looking at. Snap starting to move a bit. SPY and Qs are weak though. That's the only downside. It'd be great if they were showing some strength. Like, check out this candle on the Qs. Right near pre-market lows. If that gets taken out, at least for the short term, could get some weakness. So we got this Tesla. That was a pretty big spike. Pretty nasty reversal at this point. So there could be a little downside room here. Maybe this goes to like 700. Psychological whole number below before it starts to find some support. You got SPY and Qs really selling off right now. Tesla takes out this 705. Maybe this goes a little lower, but it's very volatile. Things are very volatile right now. Everything is whipping around. And when things are whipping around, it can be tough to trade. Just trying to be careful. Tesla near these lows though. Maybe it can quick move down to 700. Psychological whole number. 705 puts, getting in. Want to see that go almost immediately, otherwise. Okay, 704s. There we go. Nice move. Got filled at 2093. Getting out of that. That was a little pop. Go quicker, get out. That came back up. The last thing I want to be a part of is a pullback. So just to be safe, Get out of that. That was about 70 cents in the money, and I wanted to see that keep going, and that little bounce against me got me out, which is fine. All right, giving it another chance. 21.57. Like to see this wash out. There it is, 702s. All right. Getting out of that real quick. So things are just a little whippy. Not following through as much as I want. And I've already taken 2 quick trades. I really wanted to see Tesla go right away. I thought it had a chance to get to 700. It may get there now, but I feel like I'm on the verge of kind of over trading. So I'm not gonna over trade this. So if this goes, it'll go without me. Had I been a little bit more patient, it would have worked out. But Tesla has burned me a lot whenever I give it patience. So, you know, I want it to go right away. I want to be in the money almost immediately, and then clearly up in the contracts. And when it starts to fluctuate kind of flat is where I can get into trouble. And then it has like a 2-point pull against me, and that could be a big red trade. So just wanted to be careful on those trades. And this is a great example. So when Tesla does not follow through, these bounces, they can be pretty big. And if it works its way back to VWAP, I don't want to be a part of that. That'd be a huge loss. So I'm glad that I was quick with it. But that's how it goes sometimes. You know, I'm scalping. I want these things to be in my favor almost instantaneously, or the responsible thing to do is just get out so this doesn't happen. But a name that looks all right if it can get there is Snap. If Snap can get back to this high of day, knowing that all-time high is 72.95, this looks pretty good. So the 73 would load the 73 calls, just because, you know, the first strike right out of the money. All right, right there, 68, some size. There we go. Got through 68. Got filled at $2. 62, some size. Can it get through 62? Snap's a bit of a slower mover too, so can't expect huge moves on it. 75s, 80s. Get to 73. Come on. New all-time high after a big day yesterday. SPY and Qs are starting to push. So got a little bit of momentum from SPY and Qs through 73. Very nice. Just going to get out of that. That was 3 green candles in a row. I'm sure this will go a little further, but that pullback right near the all-time high, especially with volatility really high. So that was a decent push, but it did not. I mean, this obviously has a chance to keep going, but when it got through 73 and showed this topping tail right here on this candle, you know, I don't like that. I want to see this go through 73, go through it very aggressively, 73, 40, 50, 60, really in the money, so that way I have a clear area of being able to get out, which would be flat on the option contracts, and it just didn't do that, so I didn't want to be a part of that pullback. And it sucks this snap didn't have more follow through, but to be honest, my entry could have been a little better. Right around, probably just before the 72.50 break, and on this pop, those options would have moved a little more, but it's not a big mover. So catching 50, 60 cents on Snap is kind of the expectation versus Tesla. You catch a quick scalp on Tesla in your direction, you get 2, 3, 4 points. So just a different stock, different expectations. So almost 30 minutes in, I don't really see much else. I mean, eventually things will probably choose a direction, and it's kind of the, the first 30, 45, let them do what they got to do, and then the market hopefully chooses a direction. But just looking at SPY, I mean, this is a chop fest. Looking at Qs, pretty choppy. So I don't see anything at the moment. I would really love for everything to finally get going in one direction. Either have, big buys or big sells, and then look for possible flag patterns to take scalps on. And one thing that I've done, you can just see right here, I've taken the P&L off my main screen. I know I mentioned it before, but I gotta say, I wish I did this sooner. There's so much less obsession with the number seeing green or red, and much more of a focus on the trade, and then can look at the P&L after the fact. So it's made a big difference mentally, and I'm very glad that I eventually just committed to doing it. We got Tesla showing some weakness here. I mean, eventually this is going to choose one way or another, right? But you got SPY and Qs kind of chopping around. They need to choose a direction. If they choose to the downside, it feels like Tesla could get below 700. So I do have the 700 puts, but I really want to see this thing show some clear weakness. SPY weak, Qs weak. I don't want to just anticipate this too much because it looks weak under VWAP. We all know Tesla can get to low a day and bounce off of it, so really just want to wait. But you got Tesla showing clear weakness, so if SPY and Qs continue to get weak, If Tesla can put in some sort of flag pattern, not just go straight down, maybe there's more room to the downside. Take some contracts short, trying to anticipate the 700 break. Filled at 2080. Feels like if this goes red, there's a little bit of downside room. 700, want to see that go. We've got SPY week, Q's week. There we go. Drop 700. 698.
Closing order.
Getting out of that. That thing popped really quick back up. I do not want to be a part of that. So that went about $1 lower and then had that crazy bounce. And those are the bounces that I can get in trouble in. So I wanted to make sure to not be a part of it just in case. And there it goes. Went without me. I do not want to be patient though. I know I keep talking about that and mentioning it over and over again. I do not like to be patient with Tesla at all. All right, well, going on almost an hour into the day. I've taken 4 trades, so I feel like I'm on the border of over trading. And when I start to get to that point, I know it's better for me to just call it a day. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just looking at the P&L, taking 4 trades, shorts on Tesla, 1 long on Snap, and ended up making $472, so can't complain about that. Appreciate you watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.